Welcome to Mice 2024. Hi there, it's Tom at Tom's Grinder Lab. Really fortunate today to have Luigi here, all the way from the Mazzer family itself in Italy. And this is well, tell us what this is. What have we got here?
So this is called Philos. Philos in ancient Greek means friend, because we want this grinder to be a friend of each barista, whether it's a home barista or a coffee shop professional. We market this grinder as a light commercial grinder, so it can grind up to 2, maximum 3 kilos of coffee per day. So it means,
Okay. And tell us about the hopper capacity,
Yep.
and the burrs. Very interested to know what the burrs were designed for. Are there multiple burrs? Tell us about that if you would.
So the hopper is, first of all, you can remove the hopper. It's a stainless steel hopper, dishwasher safe. If I'm right, it's about 60 to 70 grams. You can also work without the hopper if you prefer these workflows.
So there's a little mechanism here with a trapdoor.
Exactly.
So you can just single dose without the hopper, or you can put maybe 2 days worth of beans in the hopper. So really good for specialty coffee shops as well as the prosumer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So if I put this back, if you want to see the burrs, it's very easy to access the grind chamber. So this is a magnet front cover. You take it out, you unscrew these butterflies.
Oh, yeah, butterfly.
So you don't need any screwdriver to do this. You take it out, and so this is the grind chamber. So these are 64 millimeter flat burrs made in stainless steel in-house by Mazzer.
And is that an omni burr?
So
For filter and espresso?
So this is, it's a hybrid multi-purpose burr, so you can do both espresso and filter with this. We give the possibility to choose between 2 different burrs or blades. This one is the i200D, the other one is the i189D. So both burrs are multi-purpose, so you can do every kind of extraction method with those. This is more targeted towards maybe a more modern style of coffee, so lighter body, but enhanced floral notes, good acidity. The other one is more targeted towards texture and sweetness. Maybe
more traditional?
More traditional, exactly.
Right. Yeah. But how is the compression? When we're dialing it down?
When you're dialing it, you're moving the rotating burr. So this is the stationary burr, and by rotating this gear here, you're pushing back and forth the whole assembly and the burr in particular.
And tell me, can the burrs be purchased separately, or will they be available in Australia separately?
You can buy them separately, but these burrs are specifically designed for Philos.
You're right.
So we wouldn't recommend to use them in a Super Jolly or in other.
No, because the thickness or whatever.
Exactly.
You might have trouble grinding.
Exactly.
And so I'm interested to know about alignment.
About alignment,
yeah.
So alignment is. So we have a special tool to measure parallelism in the factory.
Okay.
And if parallelism is not correct in the assembly line, we put it back together in a way that it comes out of the factory with very tiny tolerances.
So it is aligned in the factory?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
And what's the motor wattage, and do you have an idea of torque?
So the motor is, I'm not sure about the torque, but it's a 400 watts motor.
Okay.
So it's more powerful than, in terms of torque, it's more powerful than a Super Jolly motor.
Right.
Because when the rotating axis is horizontal, you need more torque to grind. So it's a synchronous AC motor. So it's designed to last for decades.
RPM?
Yeah. Sorry?
RPM?
So it's fixed RPM. I think 1400 RPM.
Standard.
Flat burst for Mazzer,
And at 1400 RPM with a motor like that, assuming the torque's pretty good, there's not going to be an issue with stalling with, say, Nordic roast.
Yeah, that's something we
Have you tried it with a Nordic roast bean or a cinnamon super light bean for espresso?
We can try it if you want.
I'd love to try that.
I'm sure there will be no problem.
Okay.
I think something interesting to talk about is this auger.
So does it act as a crusher or a slow feeder?
So I would say it's more of a slow feeder. It happens to break the beans, but the first goal we had in mind was to, you see, it's not 360-degree turns.
Right.
Like, so the idea is to feed the grind chamber little by little.
It's a very open auger, and
Yeah.
it's quite long.
Yeah, because the idea is to, do this movement little by little, so that the grinding behavior is uniform at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the grinding stage.
So it's 1400 RPM. You're probably going to get a few fines in there, which is quite nice to give some body and more flavor and texture. But the slow feeder could actually offset that a bit to create a smoother.
I would say so. I mean, the geometry of the burr and this feeding mechanism
It's a whole
actually
science.
provide very few fines. So,
Wow, even at a 1400 RPM. So what fascinates me about grinders is that it's a whole rabbit hole on its own. It's such a science. And I don't think people really understand how much goes into a quality grinder like this.
I agree.
Can you tell me the dials at the back?
Yeah.
Some people are going to go, I don't really know if I like it at the back. But I'm looking at it thinking it's actually incredibly easy.
I would say rather than from the back, I would say it's from the top, because you actually see it from...
You can see it visually clearly, right?
I think people are familiar with maybe taller grinders, and so they are...
This is one of the highest quality engineered and precision built grinders that I've ever looked inside. It's quite phenomenal, and I can see why it's built for a light commercial application, because it's going to stand the test of time. And it's the sort of grinder where if you were just going to have the one grinder, which in my view is not advisable, but if you were, this would be one you should have a serious look at.
I think so.
Can you tell us a bit about pricing?
Pricing-wise, it's going to be about the equivalent of €1,000. So
1900-ish, something like that.
even something lower. It's that's the idea.
Okay. €1,000. I'm sorry, I got my.
As a launch price. Then we'll see, but that's the starting strategy.
It could even be closer to 1600,
Something
1700
like that,
Australian. Which means it's going to be much less expensive than a P64 or a Zerno, and it's got different features, but it's just seriously well built. How long was it in development for?
So we started during when COVID started, so it was 2020.
What else are you going to do, right?
Exactly. It was about 3 years, and also, I mean, in Italy, in Europe, the commercial line was suffering at the time because coffee shops were closing. So we said maybe we need to do something also for home enthusiasts, and that's where we started.
Can you tell me about what we're seeing down here with the mounting?
Yeah.
The rubber mounting pad?
Yeah. So the idea of that is to absorb and reduce vibrations of the whole assembly. If you start this, you see it's pretty quiet when it's running. So
can we grind some beans and just?
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of ambient noise here, but will you still give us a bit of an idea as to how quiet it is?
The workflow will be the following. So let's pretend I've weighed my beans. Put it here. There's a magnetic catch cap.
Right.
The strong magnets here and here help also ground electrically the statics. So we didn't put any plasma generator or ionizer. We think this is a more elegant solution. So we worked on triboelectric properties of materials, and so that there's no failure point in these grinders.
Right.
It's more about materials and magnets.
In some respects, it could be a smarter, more efficient design.
Then you set the coarseness. So I don't know. Let's say we
go
do
with espresso.
Espresso, okay. So espresso, I would say around 20, something like that.
Okay.
And then I start the motor, open the gate.
It's on a scale of things, it's on the quieter side.
Then you have this knocker here, and there's your coffee. And you see, it's very little static, right?
Yeah.
Coffee is really here, nice and compact.
Yeah, that's an espresso grind for a medium light, and it whistles through it incredibly quickly. So workflow is pretty good. You're going to lift the top off. You're going to cold start it or hot start it. I imagine it'll cope with either. I doubt if there's very much that comes out with a knocker, but it's there if you want it. Any final comments on the grinder special features? We've covered a lot.
I mean, I think also the design is something nice to look at. This is brushed anodized aluminum. It comes in two colors. This is silver, this is black.
It's beautiful.
In terms of material, there's very little plastic. grind adjustment is made with brass, as in the rest of our range.
Wow.
So it's truly designed to last for decades. From the outside, it makes look like a simple grinder. It took some time to develop it, but I'm confident it will be, positively appreciated by the market.
I think it's a piece of art, and people talk to me about why I like a particular grinder. In the cup is always number one, but after that, I don't mind if the workflow is a little more complex, as long as it looks pretty. It's just like my wife, I tell people, she's hard work, but by God, it's worth it because she's pretty. And this is something that, if I had that on my bench at home, I'd be waking up every morning, and it would give me pleasure just to look at it, let alone to use it.
Thank you.
And I think quality engineering. I'm really surprised at the price point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
a launch price.
I think it's exceptionally well priced. So, congratulations on a great grinder, and we'll look forward to helping you promote it a bit. Cheers.